So Sheikhy, please teach us, after the workout and after we wake up in the morning, what are we supposed to do for the rest of the day? We got so much time on our hands. Is that all life is about? Just working out and being fit and waking up early? No. Why your world is yours. Understand the value and the purpose of the pillar that it is to wake up and train your physical body. Understand that the purpose of waking up when we say we will at a time 4 a.m. or earlier, I choose 2:45 because my mentor did 2:45. We wake up at an excruciatingly, quote unquote, perceivably early time. It doesn't really matter because once you do it long enough, you realize time is your tool and you're not a slave of the perception of quote unquote early or late, right? This is a higher consciousness. We wake up at what's perceived to us at the beginning as an early time because that cultivates superior willpower. It's the first decision of the day, to get up or to stay down. And when you set a time such as 3 a.m. and you perceive it as too early to wake up, you train yourself to wake up through that, and then you rearrange your perception of what is too difficult, right? So the first decision is to choose life over sleep, because sleep is the cousin of death. So the first thing you do is cultivate superior willpower by waking up non-negotiably at a perceivably excruciatingly early time. Once we get that done, check, first win of the day. We woke up when we said we would, and it's non-negotiable. People ask me all the time, what time do you go to sleep? What time do you go to sleep? If you know that you have a non-negotiable wake-up time and you choose to go to sleep later, therefore you choose to compromise yourself and that time to wake up, or you put yourself in a deficit of sleep, that's your personal choice and that's your personal irresponsibility manifesting. So when you set an early wake-up time, when you have a non-negotiable 2:45, 3 a.m., 3:30, 4 a.m., wake up time, roll call, then it prevents you the night before from doing dumb shit that would ensure or increase the chances of you having a more difficult time waking up at that time, right? You don't self-sabotage. You go to bed on time, you say no to the bullshit, because anything that's happening after 9 p.m. is typically bullshit, right? So whatever your world is, that's the point of the wake-up time. Now, what do we do? What do I do? Eventually, I started posting at 4:44 a.m. on the reels, doing a message and giving a message to everybody every day without negotiation. And I'm on like 945 and 0. I have not missed. So it's 945 consecutive on point 444 stamps and me showing up despite how I feel, if it was raining, if it was snowing, if it was blistering cold, if I didn't feel like it, if I was scared to say what I had to say, I still did it anyway. And especially at 4:44 a.m. The significance behind the 444 is not no numerology bullshit. It's just a time, a very specific, pre-selected time for me to fulfill something. When you realize that on Instagram Reels, you can put the timestamp, but if you're not there at 4:44 a.m., let's say you're there at 4:44 a.m. and you press the sticker at 4:45, you will see that the sticker changed to 4:45. So the 444 represents superior punctuality. So after waking up and superior willpower, then it's superior willpower and mental coordination to set the tone of the day and put a message out at the same time every day, which created the space for me to train myself to never be late and to never bitch out, but to never be late. Then we get to the gym at 5 a.m. or whenever the doors open, whenever the facility that is nearest to you that you go to is open, you are there, sometimes even before the fucking employees, bro, because you are that professional. This is what we end up doing, personal development into professional development. Now, when we get to the gym, what the fuck are we doing? Are we there to look good? Is it a beauty pageant? Are we there to impress bitches? Are we there to attract men or whatever women are doing? I mean, sure, that's like a part of it. Sex and mating, and that's a part of life. But that's not the primary intention. That is not primio intentio. That is not what we're here for. What we're here to do is to get our minds and our bodies in one harmonious place, because some of us are psychic beings and we're mental, emotional, and we can walk around detached from physical senses. You walk around floating, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not really inhabiting your body. You're not really a viscerally experiencing human being. And some people are more visceral. Anyway, what we do is show up and we're cultivating superior willpower, because them reps be burning like a motherfucker. And ultimately, not only cultivating superior willpower, cultivating a superior capacity for hard labor. The more that society advances and technology advances, the less humans will have to use physical labor as a measure to accomplish things. We have things automated. We went from using human slaves and cattle, like enslaving animals, to enslaving humans to do the labor that we didn't want to do. I mean, and then we started using machines in the Industrial Revolution, right? Superior consciousness right here. Industrial Revolution, using machines, and then the machines turned into smarter machines, computers, to do the computations that humans didn't want to do, because you got to think about Pythagoras and then we're doing math by scratch. Like, they were using their whole minds. Pythagoras, Einstein, Galileo, all doing calculations with their actual brains and with their actual minds. So we went from using cattle to do the work and be the beast of burden, to making humans the beast of burden, you know what I'm saying, and doing the labor, you know what I'm saying? And then using machines, which then made certain humans obsolete. And then the machines developed brains with silicone chips and IBM, right? And then we have computer and the internet and the digital age. And that's making more of you even obsolete, because you don't recognize that you're not a mental being. Most of you are mules. Most of you go to Amazon and ship boxes, pack boxes. That's physical labor. That's fucking mule shit. You're not using your mind, right? And this is what I always tell people. Like, if all you could do is move boxes or count change in the cash register or say, hey, do you want a coffee? And then put the fucking coffee in the water. That's why you're poor. It's because you have no skills. You're not using your full human aptitude. But why do we wake up and why do we work out? It is to cultivate the capacity, when need be, to have and do physical labor, hard physical labor. Some of you don't even recognize that. Like, the fact that you can't even go up 20 flights of steps right now, like straight up, just walk up 20 flights of steps. You know what I'm saying? With some bags, with some luggage. Can you do that? No, you're gonna fucking bitch out and fucking cave in. It's just what it is. Like, I know this, we know this. So then when you recognize that the body is a material symbol for the immaterial reality of the individual, then you will recognize that the law of correspondence truly reflects one thing: archetypes and manifestations. Everything on the visible perceptual plane is a representation of an archetype on the causal plane. So we have the causal plane and the effect plane. When we look at anybody's body, which is the effect of the causal plane that they're operating, or how they're operating on the causal plane, then we already know what the fuck is going on. Anybody who uses words to obfuscate all of their fucking ineptitudes that we can obviously see, all of their obvious shortcomings, is just another motherfucking embarrassment. You cannot lie. There are no lies in the universe. You cannot lie. You can only embarrass yourself in front of God and in front of people who can clearly perceive the truth. Right? So what do we do, Sheik? Like, what's the point? Like, all right, so now we did the workout. I understand superior willpower cultivation. And then I understand, superior hard labor ability, right? The ability to do work. Because what is energy anyway? The capacity to do work. Most of you don't have energy. Most of you can't use energy because you're physically weak. After we got the workout done, after we did the wake up, after we've read, now what do? You now have a positive mental attitude. By then, you have elevated yourself into a higher frequency. People will call it different brain states: beta, theta, alpha. Usually, you end up in an alpha state where you're calm, reserved, and you have a different level of poise and personal possession, self-possession, which gives you a different level of clarity. Now, the goal of the day is to forever remain in flow state. You're supposed to you're supposed to elevate your frequency, cultivate your frequency, right? Get your mind and your body in one place. Get rid of the neuroses, get rid of the hunt instinct, right? Get that out of us. You got to be aggressive in the day. You cannot go through the day not being aggressive when we all have aggressive impulses. This is why when you see people who don't have a morning process, after you've done your morning process, the vibrational mismatch is crazy. Like they're just walking around on like negative static and you're just walking around floating above this shit. And when they see you, they feel the mismatch and they get angry, but it's like you have no morning process. I already did my morning process. Anyway, so now we recognize you go into the day and you maintain flow state. Now that you've cultivated your superior cognition for the day, superior state of cognition for the day, right? You did the wake up, you got the self-esteem. You did your non-negotiable, whatever it was. For me, it's 444. You got your self-esteem. Check, check. You got to the gym at 5 a.m. on the dot. Check. You know what I'm saying? You did the workout. Boom, boom, boom. Check, check. Wins, wins, wins. We stacked wins, right? Now we go into the day and we must stay in flow state and go from task to task of listening to the cosmic command center, aka the conscience, aka infinite intelligence, using our third eye to see what must be done, using our third ear to hear the instructions on what must be done. People call it intuition, third ear, right? There's a voice inside of you that's giving you subtle whispers and directions and to move in certain spaces, and you're being provided mental pictures from within of ideals to manifest and make real. This is all we stay in alignment, and this is what it means to live in purpose, to live on purpose. Everybody else is just moving, drifting, wayward, has no goal, has no vision. They're just fucking, I don't even know what the fuck to call them. I don't even want to think about them. So what do we do, Sheik, after we do the workout? After we've cultivated our superior willpower, right? As if that's the most, something to not pay attention to. After we cultivate superior willpower, after we work out, it takes 2 hours, 3 hours, this morning process maximum, right? Like we woke up, boom, boom, we got our morning process, boom, boom, gym. Get to the gym as fast as possible. Now that we get out the gym, an hour and a half in the gym, you know, you could really crunch that down to an hour if you're really feeling intense, but an hour and a half in the gym. Now you have how many more hours in the day that you have to do stuff? And that's when you're supposed to be living in alignment with what you're supposed to be providing to the world, who you're supposed to be providing to the world. That may take 2 hours, an hour to study. I study for an hour a day at least, you know what I'm saying? I write for an hour a day. I serve everybody else for the rest of my hours of the day. I'm making sure everybody else is good in the world, right? I got clients, I'm sitting back and I'm thinking and I'm downloading for you all. This is flow state, right? And it's not going to look exactly the same for you because you have different talents, different aptitudes, but you definitely have something special to deliver to the world. And the reason that you are not where you ought to be by now is because you're not giving what you've been supposed to be giving, right? So the only thing that we're living to do is to give what's supposed to be given. It's not to receive what we feel we receive. Just give what you're supposed to give. And I was designed to give these ideas that are absolutely beneficial if you comprehend them, when you comprehend them. So what are we supposed to do? Stay in flow state, continuously operating your purpose, deliver what you're supposed to deliver, the special thing that you're supposed to deliver, special delivery, special delivery, right? Right, you know what I'm saying? Swag, you know what I'm saying? And that's really it, y'all. Because you'll realize, like, every time you deviate from living in alignment with your vision, living in alignment with your intuition, and living in alignment with what you're supposed to be fulfilling and bringing to fruition, you'll realize that you'll enter a different state of consciousness, which is separated, and then you'll start to be more human. You'll start to disconnect and experience angst. You'll start to experience this inward turmoil because you're not living in alignment with your vision. So the workout, we don't focus too much on that. There's niggas that's working out 7 times a day, bro. That's the most selfish thing in the world. People who only work out, like, bro, if you can't even work out, you're worse than a primate. But if all you can do is work out and do hard labor, right? That's all you can do. Then you're no better than a primate. Whatever you want, your world is yours. We're here to become, and cultivate superior sapiens, right? And what is sapience? Sapience, Homo sapien, the wisdom. But sapience is the capacity to think, to imagine, to see that which isn't seen through the organic eye, to use the mind to grasp concepts, to operate on the archetypal plane of causes and deliberately and specifically manifest effects thereby. And that's what the entire world is. You feel me? So whatever why your world is yours, consider the vibrations raised. I always feel people, and I can tell what you're thinking towards me, even if you never say it to me. And that's my gift, right? So I can feel people like, all right, sure. Like, what's the point of the workout? We answered that in this. What's the point of waking up early? We answered that in this video. We answered the point of the 444. We answered the point of the morning process. And then what do we do after the morning process? Because that's what a lot of people really want to know. It's like, all right, I've worked out. Like, you have to develop your skills, professional development, right? And once you get your professional development on pack, then you can go into the world, provide your service, provide your good, you know what I mean? And earn the ability to afford the services and goods of others. It's as simple as that. Like, life is one big party on earth, and those who are competent and who are delivering value and creating value are those who are participating in the value that is being created on earth. It's as simple as that. Do not complicate. Whatever you are, your world is yours. Consider the vibrations raised. So you have your morning process. Everybody who sleeps in and says no to themselves and no to the responsibilities of the day, they have to suffer being depressed. They have to be anxious. This is just what it is. And then they think that the solution is using narcotics or distracting themselves from their feeling that could be healed by the fact that they're not living in alignment. So you're gonna be depressed and you're going to be anxious if you do not live in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, giving, being, etc. Right? That's the punishment. Depression is the punishment for not being in alignment with who you ought to be being. Depression and anxiety is the punishment for denying the call of your conscience and denying the responsibilities of your existence. So then when you get depressed and you're anxious because you said no to the best interest inside of you, and you said no to the best interest of all, you now want to avoid feeling anxious and depressed inwardly. So then you go to these drugs, which then you look for happiness in the same places that you end up losing it and exasperating your fucking despair, right? Because everybody knows that people who use drugs really aren't happy, you know, and they have to then continuously become emotionally reliant. They have no emotional self-reliance, right? We're emotionally self-reliant beings. They have no emotional self-reliance. They rely on the weed, they rely on the drink, they rely on the nicotine, they rely on these things for their emotional equilibrium. And without these things, they don't have that. But at the same time, these same things deplete their vitality, deplete their cognitive abilities, and reduce them, right? So they're self-reducing, self-debilitating primates, and can all be healed if you chose to be responsible. Have your morning process, as all organisms do. Every organism has its morning process. You know, its physical organismic maintenance morning process. And then you have your vocational, creational, professional development, creation, production process. You have to be productive. And that's the point. Go from flow state to flow state, from task to task. And I know what my tasks are when you get on my program. In the mid-level program, when we're doing personal development and making sure that you could just get the shit the fuck done, like get you done, be you perfectly, I'll discuss some things with you there. But when we get on the professional development program, that's when we make sure that we get you to a new level of comprehension and professional development, and taking who we create in the personal development program and then delivering them to the world. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution, self-mastery, only success. I've answered a lot in this one video. And you got to take into account that you don't have friends who are on this level, psychically speaking, as a soul. They do not contain everything that I've just taken out of the container of my heart and mind and put on the table for you. So once you understand that, you need to get around people who actually have substance, who actually are substance, who are substantial individuals, then you'll realize everybody around you is either just wasting your time, or you're wasting your time by not perceiving that you're wasting your time with people who waste time. Get around people who are full who have wealth, who are a well, right? Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery, only success. Wake up, keep your word. Have your morning non-negotiables, keep your word. Get to the gym at the time that the facility opens, keep your word. Train hard, train vigorously. Build your physical capacity for hard labor and put your mind to be able to endure the physical, visceral feeling. Most people are so disconnected from their body, which means they're disconnected from their nerves. Connect to your body. Become one with yourself every day, first thing in the day. And then after that, we go from flow state to flow state to flow state to then rest for a little bit. Like I have a meditative part of my day where I sit in a dark room. I don't sit in a dark room. I lay down in a dark room. And I allow my mind to actually disconnect from my nerves. And all I have is my consciousness. And from there, I can see things that aren't being seen or that I'm distracted from when I'm living through my five senses. I'm giving you so much right now. Yo, if you love yourself, get around me, get on the program, develop yourself, get as much of this wisdom, have the questions that you need, have the curiosities that you need to feed, and we'll just continue to grow. And then we just go from flow state to flow state to flow state. It's just a matter of production. It's never about the consumption, because once you switch your mode to primarily being a consumer instead of a producer, that's when you're gonna start to be like one of them. Whatever you are, your world is yours. We are superior sapiens.